What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So, I have some good news to share with you if you are a Democrat and you want Democrats to take back control of the Senate. So, we're going to take a look at Alaska today because there was a primary and we're able to get some information from this primary. We're going to run a scenario and I will show you that Peltola, right now, she's at about 48% based on the primary. Now, we will see ranked choice voting in the general, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But with 48% of the vote in the primary, Peltola outperformed. And I'm going to show you in the scenarios how Peltola could win in the general election. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. And if you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the information here. And what I want to show you, so this is the official state of Alaska, their website showing now it's unofficial results because right now we have 99.26% reporting. Okay, so the precincts here, you have 400 out of 403. But we should have a pretty good idea of how this is going to play out with 99% reporting. Now, the first thing we need to do, because we have ranked choice voting in the general election, there are going to be 4 candidates that are going to move to the next round. They'll move to the general election. So if we go to the bottom here, we see that Sullivan, the incumbent, he's right now at 56,756. You have another Sullivan. The other Sullivan, he is at 3,235. So those are 2 that are going to move forward. And then when we find Peltola here, Peltola is at 63,891. Now, the 4th candidate, we don't know who that 4th candidate is going to be yet. And the reason why is because Hickey's here has 1,483. And then we have Leslie, who has 1,502. So you have a Democrat and you have a Republican. The Democrat is 19 votes ahead of Hickey's. So we don't know how that's going to play out. We don't know which candidate's going to come in 4th. But right now, if we're looking at the top 3, it's going to be Sullivan, the incumbent, Sullivan, the other Sullivan, I should say, and then Peltola. Okay, those are the 3 so far, and we're just waiting for the last one. Now, what I did, because when I look at information like this, the first thing I think of is how many Republicans are running, how many Democrats are running, and does that really matter when we look at the overall number? And so when it comes to Republicans, you have a lot of Republicans that ran. Okay, so we have all these Republicans here. I'm just going to mark them really quick. And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 Republicans who ran. Now, the other Sullivan, they don't have any information on his party affiliation. Okay, and we have some party affiliation that are nonpartisan. We have the independent, I think it's like the Independent Alaska party here. You have Libertarians, you have Green Party, you have Undeclared. And so you have some other candidates that ran under different platforms or different parties, okay? So what I wanted to know, because when it comes to Democrats, you see they're not very many. You have one Democrat here, you have another Democrat here, and then you have Peltola here. Okay, so what, 3 Democrats that ran. So what I wanted to know is based on the information that we have in this primary election, can we come to a conclusion if we saw, and let's just say, now it's not going to play out exactly like this. First of all, in the general election, you're probably going to have more voters. And so because you have more voters, it will change the numbers a little bit. But this does give us an idea of an election, a recent election. It will tell us how Democrats are faring against Republicans. Okay, so my question was, if we were to take all 3 Democrats, so if we take, or we'll take the 2. So Peltola, you take her numbers at 63,891, and you add the other 2 Democrats that were in the race, and let's say if there were a situation where they had a second choice, it would be Peltola. In that scenario, what would the numbers look like? And then if we did the same thing for Sullivan, if we took Sullivan's numbers, so Sullivan's numbers, 56,756, and we add all the Republicans who ran, we added up all those numbers, what would that look like? Would Peltola be ahead or will Sullivan be ahead? So let's take a look at that. So if we took that number and we added the Democrats and we added the Republicans. Now, this is unscientific. This is probably not what we're going to see in the general election, but I would think it's going to be close, okay? But if we were to do that with this election, Peltola would have 66,163 votes. Sullivan would have 63,874 votes. Okay, so we're taking all the Democrats and all the Republicans. That's what we would be looking at. Now, in order to win, in order for Peltola to win, she's going to need to have 50% plus one. For Sullivan, same thing. He needs 50% plus one in order to win. With ranked choice voting, you have the four candidates. Whatever candidate comes in fourth, they're going to look at their second choice, and they're going to add that to Peltola and Sullivan. If Peltola and Sullivan are the two top vote getters, which most likely they're going to be the two top vote getters. So that's how they do that. And they run that round, and if no candidate gets over that 50 plus one, then they take that third candidate, their second choice, and they add those to the top two vote getters. And so that's how ranked choice voting works. But if we look at Peltola's numbers, Peltola is already at 49.80%. She's almost there. She's almost to the 50% plus one. And so what would she need to get to the 50% plus one? She would need 262 more votes, okay? And that's just based on the primary. That's all we're looking at right now. For Sullivan to get to the 50% plus one, he's going to need 2,551 more votes. Now, understand, the minor party, nonpartisan remaining is about 2.12%. And that is why she has an advantage now, just based on the latest information that we're receiving. And another thing, we're going to see Peltola, we're going to see Sullivan. They're going to try to move to the middle and try to pull some of these different candidates, maybe the nonpartisan, the undeclared, the Green Party, Libertarian. They're going to try to pull some of those votes because they need those votes in order to win. But Peltola now, we were looking at the polling before. It was showing Peltola was ahead in most of the polls. Now we see why. We see why in this primary, because this primary is showing us she's at 48%. 48% is good. It's very good. She's close to that 50 plus one already. And that's even before we look at the general where they start to go through the different rounds. Now let's take a quick look at the Senate map. I want to show you why Alaska is very important, why if Democrats can win in Alaska, they could they have a good shot at taking back control of the Senate. So if we're looking at the Senate map, and what I've done here is I have all of the states that I would consider in play. Okay, not all of them are toss-ups, but I say they're in play because they're either toss-ups or they're lean Republican or lean Democrat. So when we're looking at this map, what do Democrats need to do to take back control of the Senate? What they need to do is they need to net 4 seats. But before they even net the 4 seats, they need to defend 3 seats. Okay, they need to defend a seat in Georgia, they need to defend a seat in Michigan, and they also need to defend a seat in New Hampshire. If they can defend those 3 seats, now they need to net at least 4 seats. And this is why Alaska is very important, because let's say Democrats are able to win a seat in North Carolina, win a seat in Maine, win a seat in Ohio. Now it comes down to Alaska. Can Democrats win that seat in Alaska? If they win that seat in Alaska, now we're looking at Democrats and independents at 51, Republicans at 47, and we have 2 states that are still in play. And with those 2 states that are left, I still think Democrats have a really good shot at winning at least one of those states. I think they have a good shot at winning Texas. Now, they might not be able to win in Iowa, but that race is also close. But if we were to look at a scenario like this, where Democrats win in Alaska, they win in Texas, they win in Maine, they win in North Carolina, and they win in Ohio, that would now give Democrats and independents 52 and Republicans 48. Democrats would take back control of the Senate, and they would have 1 seat to spare. So if we saw the Fetterman effect, if Fetterman decided, you know what, I'm going to now become a Republican, he can do that, and it's not going to impact the Senate control for Democrats. And so that's why I said it's good news if you're a Democrat and you want Democrats to take back control of the Senate and the general election. Right now, Democrats are on a good path. And we were seeing that in the polling, and now we're seeing that in this primary election in Alaska. So now I want to pass it off to you. Do you think Peltola has a shot? Do you think she will win in Alaska? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.